Welcome to the Great Plains Athletic Conference training tape number 7. This week we have Monty Tilgener from the COC and the Big Ten. Monty, welcome back to this week. How was your previous week on the field, not only at the Division I level, but at the GPAC JV level?
Yeah, good. We had a really competitive game in Nebraska, which I'm sure a lot of you guys saw, and was a good game. And then worked a JV game at Dort last night, and we had a bunch of guys on staff and work a variety of positions, which is always good to work out a position in those games, and did a great job, and it was a good time.
I will say, when you take a look in our area and officials that came from the Great Plains Athletic Conference, and a very common factor of what allows officials like yourself to move up to the highest of the highest, number 2 versus number 3 potential game in the land, is every moment you have the opportunity to see a snap, to see a play, you take advantage of it. So those officials, if what does it take to move up? Sometimes it's just snap, 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 repetition. So kudos to you and thank you for giving back in so many other ways besides this training tape.
You bet.
The first 8 clips, we had a national supervisor meeting with NAI supervisors, and they asked, "Are we doing anything when it comes to equipment?" And to the point where I want to show coaches, officials, players of what is non-compliant by rule, and sort of instead of the approach of this is the penalty, da da da, of some reasons why. So first off, we have a streamer that's black. The rule is it has to be white. And with a streamer, as it was in the NCAA training video last week, if a kickball touches that streamer, that's considered touching. So you don't want a long streamer. It could put you at a disadvantage on a special teams play. Monty, have you ever seen a towel be used as a touching portion by rule?
No, but ironically, on the national training tape, that was me, the official who had that call on that muff, and yes, so I was right there, and it definitely did not touch the streamer, but no, I've never seen that a streamer, you know, be out there something that could be um, involved in touching, but it certainly is.
Yep. So white towels are the only color allowed in college football. The next one, knees. So non-compliant knee pads need to be in, and the pants need to be touching the knee. In the rule book, it does say covering. Um, for a few years, we've allowed players to have it touching. And so I've asked our commissioner Corey Westra, what does the National Athletic Trainer Association believe in? Players, protect those knees to stay out of your athletic trainer rooms, offices. Protect your body. That's why the rules are in there. It might be one hit in your whole entire career, but it's going to be worth it. Monty, what does your crew typically do when it comes to egregious, not even touching the knees, not covering the knees whatsoever?
Yeah, first of all, like you said, at our level, they want it to be the outlier. So the guy where it's halfway up the thigh. In the last couple of years, they've come back a little bit on it and said that they want it to be touching the knee or touching the top of the knee or close to touching the top of the knee. So that's really what we're looking at. We don't want to be sending guys out and that, but just really looking for that player that, it's more, um, it's halfway up the thigh. It's just really egregious. We actually did have a player a couple weeks ago that he he literally had his pants cut off, and you could see he did it himself. I mean, it was jagged with scissors, horrible cutting, and before the game it was like, you're not playing like that, so he had to change. But we don't go looking for it, but it's got to kind of jump out at you, but it is important.
Yeah, and if you need motivation, Again, do it for the athletic trainers that spend so many hours trying to keep players safe. The next one that we're going to come up here is the undergarments. All right, so by rule, the undershirt shall not extend below the waistline. I know in the past in our conference we have told coaches if the undershirt is white, it looks like a white jersey. All right, so ideally, no undershirts below the waistline. Tuck them in and have the jerseys completely covering the undershirt. And now this is just uniform. I'm going to connect it to officials. Imagine 7 officials running around the football field with their shirts untucked and not matching. Hey, Monty, you think you would be where you're at if you had your shirt untucked, not matching the rest of your crew?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure not. Yeah, and it's just not a good look. I mean, for the players, for the teams, it's something just coaches just address it a little bit, and it's not going to be a problem.
This came up in our league last week. So, not compliant visiting team wearing dark gray uniforms. Visiting team members shall wear white jerseys on the road. Coaches, if you would want to wear a different color besides white, you can contact the conference office and get approval. Talk to your opponent, make sure everybody's on the same page there. Contact our commissioner, Corey Westra. I'm sure they would approve of non white jerseys if all other parties are involved. Monty, have you been in situations where you show up on the field and you're like, whoa, who's the home team? Who's the visiting team? And how do you find that out that they agreed on the jersey change colors?
Yeah, I've not been involved with that at all, but I know it is something that I've heard about. And yeah, you need that permission from the office. And then usually the officials are notified by the office that, like in this case, that the visitors are going to be wearing, a gray uniform.
And I know Corey Westra is a very approachable commissioner, and as long as all parties agree, it is will be approved.
Yeah, the big thing is that very contrasting colors, which this would meet that.
Yep. Let's see here. We have non-compliant game jersey should be touching the waistline or tucked in. So this jersey is up almost underneath his shoulder pads. Again, just have it down to the waistline. If it's below the waistline, just tuck it in. And this comes with fairness. If it gets rolled up and officials can't see numbers, opponents can't see numbers, it could gain an advantage of which player is in versus which player is not in when it comes to substitution and matching up.
Yeah, and I don't know if you have one on here with back pads not being covered, but that's something we see quite a bit as well. And it's a pretty easy one. Just ask them to pull it down, and they do, and then it's taken care of.
So same thing with the undershirts. I try to find different examples. And by the way, all these clips are from the beginning of the game. So officials, take time in your pregame. Talk to coaches, talk to players. We're not the fashion police. We're not the uniform police. Use your winning words to express what is legal, what is illegal, to make them look good, professional, clean, and sometimes it is when it comes to fairness or safety. But we can't ignore it. All right, this last one, which takes us into our first training tape play. So this one we have not even matching undergarments, real simple fix. Pull the game jersey down, cover up the undergarments. But as we play this out, this is going to be a touchdown play followed by a ball on the ground. And as that ball's on the ground, the player kicks it away from the officials. Okay, so the rule here that we're referencing is delay of game of not bringing the ball so the officials can make the ball ready for play for the next play. So players, you can leave it sitting on the ground. Always awesome. Pick it up, find the nearest official so we could get it down for the next play. So what's the tip here to prevent this from happening, Monty?
Yeah, this was an interesting one. I actually got a call on this, from the referee asking about, a possible UNS, and I'm like, well, I don't think I'd want to go there. But then I watched the play, and I'm like, the guy probably could we probably could have put a UNS on it. I mean, that's extremely deliberate. Obviously, the ball probably went back to where that tarp is, on the high jump pit, back that far. So delay a game for sure. Yeah, just if we can get to that ball, that's great. It's something we don't see very often, but
Yeah, if you are not involved in a judgment and you're not separating players, get that ball. If we could help the players prevent them from making a, a choice they shouldn't make, let's do what we can to dead ball officiate and prevent that from happening. Transitioning into offensive pass interference discussion. All right, so we have the bang bang philosophy on defensive pass interference. This is an example where we try to be even on both sides of the ball. Offensive pass interference, bang bang with the early block and touching. So Monty, I'll let you take it from there.
yeah, it's really the same thing. And even with OPI, probably even a little more of a time delay. So we want to see that block and then have a definite delay in time from when that ball is first touched. And if it's pretty tight, we just want to stay off of it. We want that timing, to be where we get the block, now we get the touch. There should be an element of time in there. Otherwise, we don't want to nitpick that.
So this was a correctly no call for offensive pass interference. Again, just not enough time in between. As we
As
go to the
officials, this would be a great one to write up, though. I mean, I would love to see this written up by a deep wing, saying I saw this block, but the touching was, pretty much same or just after, um, the block occurred. I've written up two plays this entire year, and both of them were OPI plays.
nice. So now this is offensive pass interference. We got early blocking downfield, and we got a pass beyond the line of scrimmage. So we
Yeah, this is one I think if you go back to that sideline view and stop it right here. So we started out with the double double, and now we've got a guy going in motion. So we know our strength is to the offense's right side. This running back in motion is not, he's free of foul, so we can get off of him as well. And we really should have three officials who see this block by this wide. Even the short wing. Short wing has a lot more going on. He would be the last one to get this, but back judge and I think it's the field judge. At the top of the screen, both of you should be on that contact, and we're looking for blocking posture, and he's engaging, and this is definitely blocking downfield. It really looks like our field judge is ready to pull the trigger and throw on it, and just hesitates and does not. And it's one we should have. But I mean, it would be a fantastic call by short wing, but you want to get noticed. That's the kind of ones you get because, yeah, you've got forward backward, you've got a back coming out of the backfield, but you do still have time that you could see that blocking. And then once you got the blocking, it's very easy for you to know where that ball's touching. And that's one of your jobs. So,
yeah, and I will say we could always pick up a flag for offensive pass interference. So if you see this type of action and it's one of those, I don't know if it was caught at the line of scrimmage, beyond the line of scrimmage, if you're not getting that from your crew, whether it be on the 020 saying beyond, like we've said in the training tape prior, or a point, right? Throw the flag, have the conversation, and if we could piece it together to get it right, it's going to benefit the crew, benefit the game.
well, and probably 90% of your OPIs are either one in the red zone or on a third down and relatively short play. So anytime we get in the red zone, we've got to be on high alert for that.
All right, we have overpower block and now a judgment of after this offensive lineman, the left tackle, goes to the ground, does he intentionally use his feet to trip the opponent? If that judgment was yes, we have a personal foul tripping. If the judgment is no, his legs came up and they remained up because it was the overpower block. You could say no tripping as well. I will say, take a look at this player after he does it. He's looking at the official. That's a pretty good indication of did he see what I just did there? We would support a tripping on this play. I will say I see a lot of plays like this myself. I tell those linemen, make an effort to show me you're trying to get those feet to the ground as fast as you possibly can. Any advice on this tripping call?
Yeah, it's an interesting one because usually on personal fouls, we're like when in doubt, we want to throw. I think tripping's a little different. It's not a, it's a different type of it is a personal foul, but kind of a different type. I think with this, we do want to make sure, if we have doubt, we're going to get the benefit of the doubt that it was not tripping and have no foul. So I really like this as no foul. But yeah, we do want to we want to make sure we see the action to be able to make a judgment.
Yep. So just be aware of it when those linemen go down, especially when they get beat. Find those feet. All right, so we have a catch, no catch. I will say this type of play takes me back when I was a newer official at all time, and somebody says football officiating is not a democracy. If six players on or six officials on this play go catch and one official says incomplete pass, that one incomplete pass signal is going to trump everybody. So, Monty, I'm going to have you talk about the receiver and defensive back contact and what we're going to allow on this type of play, and then we'll talk a look the goal line mechanics, and then how this umpire his angle is the perfect angle to come in to see this catch no catch.
Yeah, first of all, positioning by everybody is outstanding. It's exactly where we want to be. From a field judge, side judge perspective, when we snap inside the 15, back judge is in great position as well, and then steps up to straddle. That's great. Very patient, but we just have hand fighting there. There definitely is not anything that there's a lot of contact, but what I like is we do not have a foul just because there's a lot of contact. We need a material restriction on that receiver, and neither the receiver nor the defensive back, has a material restriction on the other player. And we're patient. We even check with our line of scrimmage official to see if he has anything different, which I'm fine with. And then we come in with not only the incomplete pass signal, but the Y, which is when he waves that he's out of bounds. And I think the end zone view, shows it well. And then that is outstanding by our umpires. That's what we want. We want our umpires, turning to be able to help, because this is one that opens up to the umpire, really well. As far he probably sees that ball is touching the ground or moves when it touches the ground better than our deep wing does, and the deep wing's able to see, the feet a little better. So that's exactly what we want from our umpire, and good job of selling it, which is what we want to do.
Yeah, so I call this the triangle effect, and mechanics lead to correct judgments. So we have the deep wing being deep, allowing our wing official to look right down the line, and our umpire turns with the ball right when he needs to turn with the ball. So we have three officials, a triangle look, three different angles, and we wind up getting this call correct of a incomplete pass. So good job there. All right, so we have on this one illegal hands to the face. All right, so there's two types of illegal hands to the face. It's that abrupt blow or a prolonged contact. So again, it's going to be on the left tackle here. And so as we see these hands to the face, Monty, what have you seen where officials could get confused or tricked where it looks like hands to the face, but they're at the shoulder pad versus that prolonged contact and abrupt contact?
Yeah, a lot of times they'll get right underneath the collar, that high up on the collar, and then they'll continue to be driving up, and it'll almost be pushing that chin up. But that's not a foul. And what we really talk about, is two things: pinned and prolonged. So you could have that jab that dislodges the helmet. Um, that jab, if it doesn't dislodge the helmet's probably okay. Now, if you get outside with the DB who's pressing and they give that quick jab, which totally throws that receiver off, that's one we would want to hands to the face. Inside, that little jab, if they get off of it quickly, is probably okay. We look for something that's so forceful that it knocks the helmet off or almost or halfway off, or the pinned and prolonged, not just pinned back and let go, but pinned and the prolonged is that it happens for a series of time.
Yeah, so I really think this defensive player starts at the shoulder pad, goes up to the face. Players, if you feel your hands getting near that face, again, it's that prolonged we're looking for. If you correct yourself right away, we're going to give you the benefit of the doubt. So
Exactly.
have active hands, but when it slips up to the helmet area, get it back down so you don't put the judgment in the official's hands of that prolonged now to the face mask.
And that was a very good call, and one we do need to get because it definitely has an impact on his ability to block those rushing passers.
Our league is getting better of understanding what is illegal blindside block versus blindside block. This is an example of an illegal one in the open field. Umpire does a great job getting to that second level and seeing this illegal blindside block. So when it
Yeah, it's a
cut,
really good pickup by the umpire. Go back to the beginning if you would. I talked about this mechanic with our umpires. Move up, and then you'll be able to turn sooner yet. So just go right behind those two linebackers, and then after the snap, even step up more and find your soft spot, and that will allow you to pivot sooner and be able to watch those second and third wave. We do get this one, but we just catch it, which is good. But I think we would have had a great look and seen it a lot easier if we were up at the 40 or 38 yard line or so, and we'll have pivoted already. Then you'd have a great look. And line of scrimmage guys, that's the line judge at the top of the screen. You've got that second wave, which is often in the middle of the field like this, and that's where you should be looking. So we want you to have a look at that as well. But this is definitely one that is illegal. We do need a flag, and it was good we got one.
and I don't want to ignore the punt mechanics of the deep wings being on the goal line. And so we have the receiver looking like he's going to catch the punt, but the ball goes behind him, and all three officials stay on that goal line. All right, so
Yeah,
that
and that's perfect. And ironically, Sean, go back to right before when that player's right around that return man. So I had a play sent to me by an official in the RMAC, and or not the RMAC, the ARC, American Rivers Conference, and I actually sent it on to Dino Paganelli, our back judge trainer, because what happened was the guy was doing like this return man was he was acting like he was going to make a catch, and he got hit. And it wasn't a extremely violent hit. It was basically a good hard tackle. Everything about it was legal. The ball bounced 7 yards behind him. So the question was, they were like, is this KCI? Is this a UNR personal foul? Is this nothing? And he sent it to myself and actually Brandon Cruz and Tutu, and we're all like, well, it can't be KCI because he's not in position to make a catch, which we need to have. And then we have the UNR factor, and we were all kind of like, I don't think it probably rises the level of UNR. Send it to Dino, and he's like, this is a great play, and the only foul you could have would be a personal foul UNR, and that would be if he blows up that return man. Um, but this was just a good hard hit, like a tackle that would have been probably early because the ball wouldn't have been there yet. But we can't have KCI. It didn't rise to a level of UNR. So if this would happen in this game right here, you can see he's right by that return man. If he would hit him and take him down, like he's thinking he's going to catch it, and he's thinking he's going to time it perfectly, and he's early, but the ball lands 7 yards behind him. And we can't have KCI, and unless it rises to a high level, we're not going to have any foul.
yeah, he in this receiver does not give a fair catch signal, so this receiver can block.
Yes.
I would also think about if they were to hit this receiver and they knew he was not going to catch the pass or kick, is it a blocking action or is it a punishing action?
Yeah,
If it's punishing, put an unnecessary roughness foul on it.
that's a great way to think about it. Yeah.
This next clip, we don't talk about offensive holding much in the training tapes thus far, but these are the offensive holdings that we are looking for our officials to get, and we cannot miss, and we get it on this play. But offensive holding, it's a three-step process. One, we have the category grab and restrict outside the body frame. We have the effect of the opponent. He was going to be able to make a play on that ball carrier. He no longer is. And then we have a positive gain. All right, so correctly called offensive holding, and the timing was phenomenal. So these are the holds we need to get every single time in the conference, and that three-step process. Now, Monty, you were talking about um, the deep wings and what they're getting.
Yeah. So on this play, we got a couple things. If you go back to the beginning before the snap, you can see we've got this wing back who back judge. Remember, you're going to say if he's in or out, he would be in this case. And that number 80 is going to come inside, and his assignment is to go block the linebacker. And back judges, you have to remember on plays between the tackles, you are responsible for the first block on the second level, which is usually against a linebacker. Sometimes it's a lineman. In this case, it's a wing back coming inside. When he comes out and he blocks this linebacker, that is all you. No one else is going to see that. The umpire's got the center guard. Umpire picks up the block, the hold, by the center, which is perfect. Our referee is going to be outside looking right there at that block on the right side for hands to the face, or if that block becomes illegal. And back judge, you have to see that block right there in the middle. So that's one you need to see. You could have a hands to the face. You could have a low block by either the defender or the offensive player, which we know would be a foul at the second level. And you could have a hold if that guy gets through that first initial hole. That's a prime opportunity for a grab and restrict, which would be right at the point of attack, and that is 100% the block and the flag that would have to come from the back judge. So you got to be very involved, back judges and deep wings on blocking on our running plays.
Good point. So this is a good job from the crew. We have a shift going. They broke a huddle, didn't break a huddle, but we have two players changing positions, and not all players get set for 1 second prior to the snap. And the crew correctly shuts this shift down and calls it a false start. Now, I will say, going back to this, we have the official who throws the flag, stops the play correctly, and we go directly to our O2O. Do not go first to the O2O.
Yeah,
The,
preliminary. Yep.
give us a preliminary signal. And when I say us, players, coaches, spectators, announcers, coaches up in the press box, those preliminary signals are so important.
Yeah, because these games are all getting streamed. So you got somebody who's doing a color commentary on this, and when they see you, go with that signal, then they're going to look at their signal chart and hopefully be proper on what it is. But they're a lot of times they're identifying that before we even make the announcement. And we want to prevent these if at all possible. If they get set and it's not a full second, but they definitely get set, we're okay with that being a warn. But in this case, it was not even close. We can't make that one legal, and that's good rules knowledge because that's what we call that. False start of the second kind. So it's an illegal shift that converts to a false start when we have a snap and they have not all become set. So good rules knowledge and application by the crew.
All right, so this is our replay, our challenge play of the week here. Challenge on a scoring play. So this is an example. We can't take plays off, even a point after attempt. You never know what could happen. Stay focused throughout. So we have a low kick, tipped, and boom, quick, and then it bounces. So the ruling on the field is an unsuccessful field goal. So Monty, what the question is here, if this play were challenged, can we use what is in this video on this clip Is this indisputable video evidence that this kick went between the uprights?
Yeah, but between those two views, definitely would be, and we got to know what is and is not reviewable. So if the ball goes over the uprights, then that is not reviewable. If it's above the uprights, above or below the crossbar is what is reviewable. And obviously, if it's not above the upright, then it's between the uprights. So above the crossbar, between the uprights, as long as we are not above the uprights, is reviewable. And you could, this one right here, you can tell it's above. And I really don't think on this one you can tell it's outside or inside, but the other view you can. So
Yep.
between the two, you could definitely do it. On this one, I really think the biggest thing is I think there was some doubt on the crew with others on the crew of, hey, I think that went through. I think we could have had a little communication with everybody involved and probably got this right.
Yep. So, coaches, just understand this would be a challengeable play, and this would be indisputable video evidence to overturn the ruling on the field. So, we have kick catch interference here um, to discuss on this play. And as we play this out, we're going to have a pooch kick into the air. So, a couple items here. So, we have fair catch signal, and then you have the receiving team underneath the ball. The ball does go 10 yards, but it has not hit the ground. Um, what are you looking for here, Monty, when it comes to protection, fair catch signal, and then the opportunity to catch the kick?
Yeah, first of all, anytime we see a pooch, we really need to widen our vision to look for fair catch signals because there's a very good opportunity that somebody's going to signal. And if anybody signals, we know that if anybody from team B, possesses that ball, it's dead. The only one that gets the extra protection is the one who signals. Now everybody gets protection to catch the ball, but the person who signals gets extended protection to complete the catch. So if you give a valid signal and you bobble that ball and it bounces up in the air, you get the opportunity to complete that catch. If you do not give a valid signal and that ball pops up in the air, now it's fair game. In this case, there's a team B player who's in position to make a catch, and therefore, no matter who it is, signaler or not, he has to be given the opportunity to at least start that catch, and he is not. So a good flag comes in there, and it was handled very well by the crew. But yeah, we just need to know when you get that extra protection, and just really think about when you see a pooch to be looking for somebody to signal fair catch. On our crew, when someone signals fair catch, whoever sees that is on the 020 saying we have a fair catch signal during the kick. We had several times, Nebraska this past weekend where I'm watching and it's downfield further, but as a deep wing, I'm watching that initial action by the first blocks, and I hear somebody say we have fair catch signal, and then later we have the fair catch. But so that's something that you can do just to make everyone aware that we do have a signal.
And even though this is a foul by K during a free kick, this is special enforcement. This kick catch interference will be 15 yards from the spot of the foul.
Yep.
All right.
And I
That,
think you were asking about review. If this is something
oh,
that's challengeable.
yes.
Uh, a lot of things are challengeable, touching of a kick and so on, but kick catch interference is something that is not something that is reviewable.
All right. So if the flags were not down on this and the kicking team did recover this ball, they can't review it and say, "Ooh, we missed kick catch interference," which caused the receiving team not to be able to catch the ball. They cannot put kick catch interference on this play.
Only if it was a targeting action, because that's one that we know that we can. But it would have to be, yeah, not the kick catch interference itself, but a targeting action could be.
Very good. Well, that does conclude our training tape today from the clips sent in from our graders, a couple clips from the coaches, and then I went out of the way to find the equipment and um, uniform compliancy. Again, the main purpose of that is one, the total look of the Great Plains Athletic Conference. Two, teams that we have a lot of teams that are eligible for playoffs right now and that are fighting for that playoff spot. And it is going to be a point of emphasis at the NAI level. They want NAIA teams representing that level of football at the most professional level, and they're going to find officials that are going to adhere to that and use winning words to put a good product on the field. Not only our judgment, our mobility, but looking good and having players look good. And everything we covered today are easy fixes just by using winning words. So, Monty, thank you once again for joining us for Week 7
Yep.
training tape. And we'll be back here next week. Good luck on Saturday, and look forward to hearing about your experience. Officials, remember, you're only as good as your last call.